Hey guys, what's up? This is Abhishek Swami. I'm making my first how-to video in my YouTube channel, that too in English. So coming back to the video, how do you become a wildlife photographer in India or anywhere in the world? Why did I say India? Mitrons! The reason why I chose this particular topic was because I do write a lot of answers in Quora. So I write answers about photography, wildlife photography. If you haven't checked that out, I'll put a link below. You guys can go have a look at my answers. By the way, this video is not sponsored by Quora or anybody for that matter. I'm a poor chap. One of the most common questions I've always seen is how do you become a wildlife photographer? The biggest misconception, misunderstood, overlooked thing about wildlife photography is majority of the wildlife photographers do not do wildlife photography as a full-time profession. These people have other sources of income to support their passion, to support their wildlife trips and whatnot. Or they are sometimes commissioned by big channels like Nat Geo or what are the other channels? So the actual question is not how do you become a wildlife photographer. The question should be phrased something like how do you reach a level where Nat Geo gives you a call. I think that's Nat Geo. Step 1 is taking wildlife photographs. Step 1, like any other niche of photography, the step 1 is always going to be the same. Shoot, shoot and shoot. Seriously guys, I really mean it. You gotta take a lot of photographs to get used to wildlife photography. Wildlife photography is not easy. It's not somewhere where you miss a shot, you just call back and say, repost, take. That doesn't work in wildlife photography. Once you miss a scene, it's lost. It's no more. You can't just reframe it. There's a tiger hunting a deer. When the tiger is pouncing, your camera says low battery. So my point is, to avoid such kind of occasions, I would suggest you know your camera in and out before starting to get into wildlife photography. I had this opportunity to work with a few professionals on my wildlife trips, and you wouldn't believe the control they have on their camera. They would literally have their eyes on the viewfinder while they can go on through all the settings to capture the scene as they want. It is something amazing. If you have a camera with you, I would really suggest you to try it now, and if you can't do it, I ask you to keep practicing. Have your camera on the viewfinder while having your eyes on the subject. You should be able to change every single settings of your camera with the use of only fingers. That is how proficient you must be with your camera. That would save a lot of time, precious time, when you're trying to shoot out there in the wild, where you cannot miss a second. Being a wildlife photographer doesn't mean that you only shoot when you are out there in the wild, when you're out there in the forest. That is not how any niche of photography works. So moving on to step 2. Step 2 is actually as important as step 1. It is to know how to post-process your wildlife photographs. See, out there in the wild, I would, as any photographer would suggest, you always shoot in RAW, a format which will roughly hold all the data necessary for you to work on a photograph while you post-process it. However, shooting in RAW doesn't mean you get amazing photographs. It is what you do after you shoot in RAW. How do you post-process it? There are a lot of YouTube videos on how to post-process a photograph. If you want to know how do I post-process my photographs, leave a comment below. That will be my next video. I'm just referring to reworking on the raw image you've captured and nothing else. Step 3. Step 3 is how you market your photographs. How do you display, how do you grab the attention of Nat Geo? Instagram is not the place that is exclusively made for wildlife photographers. There is this particular website of Nat Geo called Your Shot, and if your photograph is amazing, it might even grab the attention of the editor, who might he or she leave their feedback, tell you what you have to work on. And if you're lucky enough and your photograph gets selected, grabs a lot of views and attention, that's where it reaches the magazine, it reaches Nat Geo, it reaches the worldwide community. So that brings us to the last step, step 4. This is one of the hard and sad truth about having wildlife photography as your interest. Wildlife photography is an expensive hobby. Trust me, it costs huge amount of money to pursue wildlife photography as a passion, and that too when you're in a stage where you are just working on your portfolio, you are yet to be recognized, it is going to be even more harder. See, I'll break it down to you guys. The kit is going to be very costly. You need to have telephoto lenses, you need to have teleconverters, good crop camera. I'm not saying you cannot shoot wildlife with basic kit, but wildlife photography is one type of photography where you have so much of limitations. You cannot get close to your subject, you cannot ask your subject to repose. I would always say having a body that can shoot 10 frames per second is always better than having a body that can shoot only 4 frames. A body which can focus faster, have more AF points, it really makes a difference, because it makes more sense. It gives you more flexibility. You will be able to capture much more when there is a lot of action going on. And keeping the kit aside comes the safari part. Each safari will cost not less than 3 to 5 grand, and that again depends on how much flexibility you want. I would always prefer a jeep over a bus, because in a jeep I've got the entire area for myself. I can turn around however I want. I'll have the entire place for me, my kit, my binoculars, my tripod. Hiring a jeep exclusively for you is going to be thrice or 4 times the cost of sharing a van, where there'll be 20 people and you'll be much limited. From safari to the travel to accommodation, the kit, everything is a huge cost that you might have to face when you pursue wildlife photography. So my point is that for all this you need money. You need a lot of money. So I think this video gives you a little bit of clarity about how to become a wildlife photographer. If you've got any more queries, if you've got specific doubts about photography or post-processing, leave a comment below. And as always, leave a comment, subscribe, guys. You guys are my best inspiration for me to keep doing more such videos. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye, stay home, stay safe.